You started earlier in the program talking about the Turnbull book. Now, any other time it would be massive news. Of course, it's nowhere near the top story at the moment, but still interesting, Andrew.
Very interesting. Interesting how he seeks to portray this real split between Matthias Cormann and Scott Morrison. Now, Morrison's addressed it on Friday in the way that you should, and saying, I've got more important things on my mind now, and indeed he has. But I thought one interesting aspect was this issue of negative gearing. Perhaps if we can look at a section on that. The suggestion was that Scott Morrison not once but twice advocated for a policy similar to Labor's on negative gearing, once before the 2016 election, once after. Politically, we should be tackling housing affordability was his situation, cracking down on negative gearing for the same reasons he'd advocated in the lead up to the 2016 budget, it says in the book. And Matthias Cormann, he wasn't in the booming Sydney market, he was in the slumping Perth market, and he was saying, you know, you're going to depress the housing market. Now, I don't think there'll be any suggestion that Scott Morrison will revisit this, even though he needs some revenue, Kieran, because you know, there's going to be a housing slump after this. It's not the right time for that sort of policy. But it's interesting that it showed what a hot issue it was polling as, I guess. The other thing is this shot he's had at Christian Porter, if we can see that, where he says Christian Porter's the only emotional, because Christian Porter's account of that discussion has been relayed, where Turnbull was trying to get him to get Dutton out of Parliament, really, so he couldn't run against him as leader. He says the only emotional part of our discussion was when unprompted Porter started to tear up, and as he bemoaned the narrow 2% margin by which he held his seat and how he was inevitably going to lose it. I didn't come in here to do this. I came here to sit in your chair, and now I'm going to lose it all, he moaned. So a tale of ambition left, right and centre. Turnbull's putting Morrison in it, saying he wanted to be PM after Abbott, even before Turnbull. And he's saying, apart from we know Dutton wanted to be PM, he's saying Christian Porter wanted to be PM as well. The interesting thing, one of the interesting things for me, maybe I just haven't seen it, Kieran, but he doesn't really lay into Peter Dutton that much. Peter Dutton's the guy who challenged him, of course. He's laying into all these other characters.